Welcome to the Ninjababes podcast. I am Kara Palillo. I'm your host, and today I am here with... I almost called you Kathy. I almost called you Kathy because I wanted to put your...
Kathy Ordeal.
to stick your whole name together like Casey Rothschild. Anyways, today I'm here with Casey Rothschild. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to the podcast. How are things in your world today?
Things are good. Just drove back from school today.
Congrats.
So, started my weekend early. Things are good.
That's always good when you can start the weekend early.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I slept in really late today because I was up really late from training last night. I just got home late. But then I had no concept of what day it was. And it's very confusing. But
I had to wake up at 7 a.m. to choose classes for college.
Oh, college life.
Because that's still a thing. One more year.
You're so close.
I know.
It was so fun meeting you last year and getting to know you on the set of A&W for Philadelphia. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool because I didn't even know anything about you. And I just literally saw you run the course. And I was like, whoa, this girl, she just flew up that wall. So
yeah, I think I knew you because I had seen you wearing the Ninjababes jacket at NNL Finals.
Okay.
And I had no idea what that meant or anything. But I remembered you were the girl wearing the jacket.
Sweet.
At that point, that was me 3 months into ninja training, knowing nothing and no one.
That's so funny how things change.
Right?
Yeah, and everyone knows who you are now. It's pretty crazy, right?
It is, yeah.
Before we dive in anymore, quick shout out to our sponsors. Sleep Ovation is an amazing mattress company that is changing the comfort game with their 700 tiny mattresses in one. Sleep Ovation offers a 100-night trial with free returns. They are Sturdy Pure US certified. They're non-toxic, which means you're not sleeping on a bed of harmful chemicals. They're 100% made in the USA and offer free shipping in the US. They are now offering the Ninjababes community $400 off your order if you use code Ninjababes. Or you can use one of the links under the Sleep Ovation commercials on the Ninjababes YouTube channel, or even tap on the link in the show note details on your screen. This mattress is supportive, comfy, and I look forward to sleeping on it every night because it gives me such great rest. We all know as athletes, we need those precious hours of sleep to help us recover and be ready to crush life and ninja the next day. The technology of this mattress is really cool. Each individual foam piece can press down independently from the rest of the bed, so that helps to alleviate pressure on your joints and muscles because it allows your body to move freely without feeling like you're stuck sinking into the bed or rigid laying on something immovable. This is the ultimate in comfy and genius in its support technology. So tap the link in the details on your phone or check out the Ninjababes YouTube channel and find the link there.
So last year, we both had mixed feelings about how the course ended up going, but it was so much fun and it was a blast. I'm so looking forward to season 11 in Baltimore. And we are just days away. I'm so excited. I'm pumped.
Right?
Yes. How are you feeling going into season 11?
I am feeling really, really good. I think this year I was thinking back into how I trained last year versus how I trained this year. I remember last year, going into qualifiers, I pretty much only prepared for a qualifiers course and I ran 3 courses maybe.
Okay.
And this year I've been going for about 2 months doing course runs. We did 3 qualifiers courses a night for the past 5 weeks. We've been running finals courses. So I'm definitely much, much more prepared this year.
Totally. Yeah, that's
How
good.
are you?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, this year was different in a lot of ways. I had sprained my ankle really bad in January, and so that sort of thwarted my plans because I was on crutches for 5 weeks.
Right.
But so then I had a lot of rehab and recovery work set in the middle there too. But in general, I think my training has just been so much more focused, and really all year I followed much more of a schedule of what am I focusing on what days, and just really making sure that I was hitting every type of movement, every type of skill needed for ninja. Because I think the first year I really was just ninja's fun, and I'm just gonna play around, and there's still always that element of playing, but I think the first year it was let me just focus on the things that I'm good at, and then I'll eventually work on grip, and those things kind of just come with it. But this year I really was I know I'm a good ninja. I want to be the best ninja I can be, and just really went after every area of skills and all that.
For sure. I remember like I was like doing like all the laches last year because that's what I was good at. So like if ever there was a lache in practice, I'd focus on that. And then like grip and balance weren't as fun, so I totally ignored it. And then just this year, focusing so much more on those weaknesses and feeling better about it. But yeah, it's weird thinking about season 10 and just comparatively like how much less prepared I was and how much less experience I had at least doing Ninja Warrior competition versus now. It's like at the time, like you feel like you know everything, but looking back.
I know it's true. We're just young ninjas back then. Tricky season. I know. I feel like I did feel prepared last year, but now this year it's like I feel so much more seasoned and like knowledgeable of my own skills. Like I don't know. I just feel much more confident in my own abilities this year. And I'm just like ready to get up that wall and go to Vegas.
For sure. Well, I remember like last year I hadn't even done a warped wall in competition until the show.
That's so crazy.
Like that was literally, it was the first wall. And also that was the first wall that was over 14 feet that I ever did.
That's amazing.
That was on the course. So now like I feel much better. I feel like I'm like not shying away from stuff as much. I think even like 2 weeks before the show last year, I was avoiding salmon ladder because it was just scaring me. I think I hit my head on it at some point last spring and I was just avoiding it at all costs. But now like I'm training it like multiple times a week within course runs and just practice. Yeah.
I think the other big thing that's changed for me this year is just like the mental strategy of, I feel like I'm a lot better at actually looking at obstacles and strategizing than I was last year. But also just the expectation of like, I can do this. I know how to finish this course. I know I can do it. And just like the expectation of getting there.
And even just like confidence going into courses.
Totally.
It's so different. Yeah. I was just talking to my friend Heather yesterday. I was messaging her and just talking about like mental, like that stress that everyone gets going into course runs and like different ways that we've coped with it. And there's something, the beginning of this NNL season, it was like right after finals for the show, beginning of NNL, I was getting so stressed about courses. Like this feeling I was telling her of like, I just want to be like done, like feeling like very, like stepping on the course and like, I mean, you don't want to fall, but like being like, oh, like this is like too much pressure. And I realized after that, I was like, you know, like I kept like making excuses like, oh, everyone gets stressed. But at some point, like you really need to like look at the problem and fix it if you're going to keep going with the competition. And there's something that really helped me. I was kind of like looking into different sports and like how do people deal with performance anxiety and stuff like that. And there's a quote that was like, you need to like perceive that feeling of fear, that feeling that like you perceive as like, oh, I'm so scared to be on this course or to play this game, as like your body getting ready to like do like big moves, to do something really powerful. Like you're amping yourself up, and just that different perception. Like then you don't get stressed about being stressed. You're like, no, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I think that helped me a lot during the NNL season. And then going into finals, I felt totally different at the NNL World Finals this year as compared to last year.
Yeah, Casey, I think that's awesome. And I like exactly what you're saying. It's like that stress or the anxiety, like anything that your body is feeling. I think there's a huge difference between like allowing that to be a fuel for you to like really focus and hone in and like use that fuel for energy versus like allowing it to overtake your body and just become like a crippling fear. Like I think too often people just like get nervous or like you're saying, like feel that stress and then get nervous because they're feeling that stress, and like they just allow it to take over them in a negative way instead of like recognizing it and then using it to your advantage.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something like going into A&W season 11 that I've been working on, like trying to sort of like visualize myself actually being on the course so that when we do get there, it doesn't feel as like new. And of course we have been on the course before, so it's going to be like a little less pressure than before when you've never stepped on an A&W course. But yeah, just the visualization I think really helps. Like I'm like picturing like, oh, there's like the audience is there, the camera's there, the course is in front of me, and like I'm not in the gym, I'm on the course, and then you just feel comfortable.
Yes. Yeah, that's so smart and that's so good. I've definitely done the same thing. And even just like imagining like hearing the crowds or like like how the producers like count you down before you start your run. Just like seeing all of seeing all of those elements. I had Colt Scott the other day. We were doing course runs at Center Court in Lawrence, and I was like, Colt, can you just be really intimidating and like crouch down in front of me and count me down and say good to go? So yeah, it was perfect though. Just like whatever you can do to like, see those things in front of you, I think it helps you calm down so much better.
I was about to say, one of the teenagers on the action team, Pete, held up a big mat and like did the 3, 2, 1. Like to prep me for the steps. He's like, you need to be ready.
It's so true though. Like it's so different when you're like, we always, you know, we'll do the boop, 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 boop. Like we always do that. But just when you're there, like the lights, like the audience, the cameras, like everyone's staring at you and you're like up high. Like it's just like a weird feeling. And so it's great to be able to just like get your body and your mind ready for that.
For sure. How have you felt about the courses you've been doing? I feel like totally different. Like the courses I see you guys doing are awesome. I feel like
in training,
just like doing those replica, the training, like doing the replica courses.
Oh yeah,
so helpful.
Yeah, I mean, people try to get creative and really just even like strategic about what have the courses been like in the past. Like, what is the typical trend of like, oh, like we're gonna have like that first step obstacle, and then there's gonna be a balance. There's gonna be this. There's gonna be that. And so I think a lot of the people that I train with are just really smart about trying to incorporate all of those skills. So I always like applaud people like Joe Capo, or, you know, I feel like I train at Center Court and at VertiQuest a lot, and everybody there is always just trying to like really set up courses that are going to be beneficial to training. So training with a purpose, like training with really keeping those skills and like that type of obstacle in mind, so that it just feels more comfortable even for your body to like go through the motion of, okay, I'm like running and striding, and now I'm doing like a big lache type of movement, and now I'm doing balance. And like A&W can do whatever they want. Like they might throw us off completely.
It's all about those skill sets. It's just like the confidence, like with that agility. Yeah. Like if you can do those quick steps on, say, like we did with medicine balls, like you can run on medicine balls, then you can run on like those giant red balls, or like
exactly.
on the broken bridge, or like a much bigger obstacle. It's just those movements like that you can apply to other obstacles.
Yeah, exactly. And like so many obstacles, it's the same skills. It's just using different equipment, or like you're holding on to a different shape or a different type of grip. But once you learn some of like the foundational skills of laches, or like trapeze laches, or balance, or whatever, it's like you can apply that to whatever's in front of you.
Yeah, it was like the bow ties last year. It's like, okay, it's a trapeze, it's 2 trapeze, like think giving it like 2 trapezes and like building up with that. Yeah, I feel like endurance wise this year, it like I feel totally different. Like I was thinking about the course runs that I ran with some of the coaches at Action and also at Real Life last year in preparation for the show, and thinking about how far, like every course run I did, I'm pretty sure almost every time I fell in the middle of the 5th obstacle. So that was like about my gauge. I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm happy with that. Like 5th obstacle is like a good distance into the course, like not quite the warped wall. So when I actually did on the show, like that was like the furthest I had done like in the qualifier style of a course, versus this year, like I've been running a lot more courses and my endurance is up, and almost all the course runs I have made it about like halfway through like the 8th or like the 9th obstacle. Yeah. So just training wise, like building up that like forearm strength and the endurance, it's a game changer for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so excited. Like I can't wait to see everybody compete and like be there for the whole thing.
I know, everyone's looking so strong. It's awesome. And it's like a really like strong group of women and guys too.
Yeah, the guys are strong.
Yeah, but like they do their thing.
Yeah, no, we really have an amazing group, like all around. Baltimore region is going to be amazing. I'm very excited. Are you going to any other cities to watch or be in like sidelines or anything?
No, I'm not. It's like, it's tough with college to get the time off. Like even for the show, I have to like explain like I'm filming for this show and like I have to go. Yeah. But yeah, now are you?
I'm hoping to make it out to Tacoma to be on Janelle Copa's sideline. But I also, I got called for jury duty. And it was supposed to be during,
what?
Yeah, it's supposed to be during when we were filming for Baltimore. because it's not on a weekend this year, it's on like a weekday. And so I like freaked out, and I've never been called for jury duty ever in my life. And of course it had to be like that Monday. And so I wrote the form, and I was like, please, like, excuse me, I'm filming for American Ninja Warrior. And so they let me push it back, but they pushed it back 2 weeks to when Tacoma is filming. And I was like, ugh.
This year, it'd be so great if like 3 or 4 women made it to Vegas.
I know. I'm going to be in that group. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Well, no, it's like, and it's so doable, you know, like with this group of women, like, I mean, we'll see what the course is, but that'd be really awesome. I feel like this is like the region.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I know. I have full confidence in our region. And it would be so incredible just to see like several ladies making it into that top 15 to go on to Vegas, or even especially for like the qualifying course, to see a bunch of women finishers making it onto city finals. Like, I think that'd be incredible.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you can get like over that like 5 number, like the 5 or the 2.
Yeah, totally.
That's awesome. I know, I'm so excited. Especially like, how'd you feel like the NNL season? I feel like it's cool because like everyone gets stronger.
Yeah.
Like compared, because I only did the 1 season before, and then just like it really made me step my game, because I remember my first season, a lot of times like in the women's group, you like, I mean, it depends on the course, but like we're only going through like 2 or 3 obstacles. And this year, like if you want to win an NNL, you got to go through like 8 or 9 at some of them.
Totally.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think we've just gotten so much stronger as a whole, and it's incredible. Like, I'm just very proud of us. I think everyone is doing so good, and we always say this, but like we're always there helping each other and supporting each other, and like it's been such a community effort. I feel like for like cumulatively all of our strength to grow. I think we've all been helping each other, and it's really cool.
Remember, like I did like the NNL finals, like I was getting a lot of advice from like the women from my gym and from other gyms who had gone earlier, like on the swivel steps, on different things, and people being like, this is what it feels like, or like, I made this mistake, like don't make that mistake. And how like it's not like other sports where like you're trying to like beat someone out. It's like, oh, like I want, like if I fail or if I like don't go as far as I want to, then I want to help someone else go further, you know?
Yeah.
Or you want someone else you want everyone to do the best they're going to, and that like that's a better competition anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, ninjas are cool. We're so cool.
So cool. And it was like an exciting night in general, like being at filming and stuff, because I had never been to any filming before.
Okay.
Philadelphia. So just like being there on the course, and like there's a lot of ninjas there that like I had not met or even like seen until the filming of the show.
Yeah.
So it was weird, like being on the show, and then also like I think it was like Daniel Gill was there, and I hadn't met Jesse LeBrecq at that point.
Yeah. I always wonder like what people A&W is going to invite to come to compete who aren't necessarily like training for Ninja. Like last year they had somebody from the Eagles football team, and then there was like a model and like an Olympic athlete, and people like that. I always wonder like who are they going to invite? Like,
I know. I feel like it's like we were talking about how Ninja, because the courses are getting so much more difficult, that at some point it's going to be harder to have those people come in who have no Ninja training at all. It's hard if you don't have any Ninja training to do something like that.
Yeah, we'll see.
I guess it just depends. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, yeah, it's like a good thing for people who train the athletics, but also like I remember there was the woman who her husband had competed, and she was in a wheelchair, and then she competed last year.
And Indina Stinger.
I haven't met her, but yeah, I think that was a really awesome run to see, and that was really inspiring.
Yeah.
But yeah, like having someone like make it like that the steps are something that people can do who haven't trained Ninja for as long.
Or now with like the walk-on system changing, I think everyone's like saying that they feel like there's going to be like 200 people in the walk-on lottery. So I don't know.
I'm thinking, yeah, our region's huge.
Yeah.
It could be more.
Yeah, totally.
Almost everyone I know is planning on doing the walk-on line or walk-on lottery. People down there try and do it?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying it. So we'll see.
I'm so glad Dave Kavanaugh got a call, though.
I know.
I feel like a lot of people like him, and then I think Greg did. Yeah, so just like people who like in the walk-on line a lot before getting to go on the course still this year.
Yeah, totally.
How did you even get involved in A&W in the first place?
Well, I've been doing sort of circus arts and that kind of like those niche weird sports for the past 10 years. So 10 years of circus. I did sort of like a year or two of rock climbing. Mm-hmm. So it was similar to A&W, but I had never found a ninja gym. So every time I looked, there was maybe like a tiny gym around or like some sort of program, but nothing that was quite what I wanted until I moved to Connecticut. So that's when I found a gym. I went to Real Life Ninja Academy. That's Drew Dreschel's gym. And then I just started training from there.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so cool. So how did you get into circus? Like, to me, that's the coolest thing ever.
I went to a YMCA camp that was near my house forever. And there was sort of like a circus program there that I was like, oh, like when I'm old enough, I'd always wanted to do it. So I did this sort of 2-week circus camp. You get to try all the different circus equipment, and I fell in love with the aerials. So aerial hoop was the first thing that I focused on and started taking classes right after that camp and stuck with it.
That's really cool. I feel like if it were me, I would have been like, where are the animals? Can I ride an elephant? And like, that would have been my circus experience. I would have like wanted to walk around with the tigers, and that would have been me.
No, I remember I was originally signed up for unicycle class.
Oh man.
And I was walking around and I saw this big metal rig with the hoop and the silks and everything hanging from it. I was like, hey, can I do this? And oh yeah, just switch out your classes. So
that's good.
That's how it started.
I'm glad that you switched.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not good at unicycle.
Imagine though if you had came onto A&W as dressed as a clown.
Yeah. And I never learned how to juggle or unicycle after that. I missed the class.
That's funny. Oh, man. Well, you seemed so smooth on the course in qualifying, and especially the lightning bolt obstacle, because you went just 2 or 3 people before I went. And I remember watching you go, and I was like, wow, this chick knows exactly what to do on that lightning bolt when so many people before us were falling on the first move. So I remember being so impressed, and then hearing afterwards that you had circus experience, I was like, oh, no wonder, it seemed so second nature to you, what to do. And I was, so impressed.
No, I definitely, as soon as I finished the broken bridge obstacle and I got to the upper body, I was like, okay, it's I felt good about those obstacles. Obviously, you never know what's going to happen, but yeah, that's definitely my strength, the wing nuts and the lightning bolts.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was really good. And then, of course, you cleared. Congratulations. Going back in time right there. Speaking of, so you were the youngest clear for qualifying, right? Before I get my facts wrong. I'm pretty sure that you're the youngest person on my podcast so far, so.
Oh, great.
Way to be young. Okay, so we had gotten another question, it looks like from, on Instagram from Stooge28 Stacy ZB. And she asked a really great question. She was talking about how her 11-year-old is involved with ninja and, she's passionate about it and everything, but what sort of advice would you have for younger kids who really want to be competitive in ninja, but they're students, they're in school, they have school activities and life and family, and, how do they balance both?
Yeah, that's a question I feel like I get a lot, having done this and also doing sports before that. Honestly, for me and for a lot of people, being busy, if you're busy and you have a schedule that's set with your training, having that set amount of time to get your schoolwork done, it really helps me. Because say, I have 3 hours to get work done, okay, I have to get done these 3 hours, versus I have all week to do it, I'm going to put it off. So, it's just time management skills, it's definitely helped me a lot with that. I train at night, so being in college, it's definitely different than when you're 11 and you have school full time, but I have so much time during the day. I'm only in class 2-3 hours a day that I get work done when I can.
Yeah. No, I think time management is so important. And I think, especially with A&W Junior and now, of course, NNL and other ninja competitions are for all ages. And so I know so many kids are really passionate about ninja and they look up to us. They look up to all of us who are adult athletes and are making this a priority, and so they want to make it a priority too. And I think that's great. I think it's awesome to be motivated about the sport, and I think it will teach them a lot of discipline and a lot of time management. But I do think like there's got to be a balance, and I think that exactly what you're saying, really blocking out specific times for training or schoolwork is really important. But it's still like there's got to be, I don't know, there's still got to be some sort of a balance. Like, what if the kid realizes that there's something that they love more than ninja, but like they were locked into ninja and never got a chance to try anything else? Or like, what if they're missing out on like social time with other friends or other like cousins or family because they're always at ninja? Like, I don't know, I think just having a healthy balance of still experiencing other parts of life is important. But I love the next generation of ninjas that are coming up. I helped Alyssa Cirillo from down at Movement Lab. She's on American Ninja Warrior Junior, and I helped coach her and do some training with her. She's awesome. Like, I love spending time with her, and I think the kids who are involved in ninja are so like so much energy and so unique, and like I love seeing
they're so talented too. Like, it's,
I know, yeah.
At that team competition, we had an ANW junior team. And one of the kids on it, Nate Pardo, he won the Salmon Ladder Challenge. He did 50 rungs in 1 minute.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which was like 15-ish more than like the top pro competitor. It was insane.
Wow, I love it.
Like it's not just that like they're like matching some of them. Like they really are competing at that pro level. Some of them, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I think it's awesome. Like, they have such amazing teachers. Like, think about their coaches are all people who have competed on the show and, like, competed at a high level and are really skilled ninjas, whether they've been on the show or not. Like, there's so many skilled ninjas out there that have so much experience. And so I see, like, these kids just learning all of this technique and all of this stuff that maybe it took us a while to figure out. Like, they're learning it right away.
Having them at a high level is awesome, but also just that support that they're getting from those experienced ninjas is really awesome to see.
Oh, definitely. I think we all know like ninja is already such a supportive sport, but I do think it's so cool and so valuable that we're instilling that in the younger kids, and they're just having the same mentality of like teamwork and supporting each other, and not some sort of like catty competition, but just like that respect and enjoyment of just like we're doing this together. I don't think I would be in this sport if it was the opposite. I'm just not that kind of person. I would have been like, forget this. You guys can all go fight amongst yourselves. I'm going to do something else. But yeah.
Like, I did track and field before this, and like there's definitely some really awesome people in it, but at the same time, it's like one of those sports that's really competitive, and you're not necessarily like, everyone's not trying to help each other succeed. You're sort of on your own, and it's like more of a competition. You're not working with the other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, it was nice when I left that sport, at least my experience with that sport, to find a sport that has such a supportive community.
I think that anyone who's interested in trying ninja should try it, because you learn so much life skills. And for sure, for those parents who are like considering putting their kids in ninja, it's worth it. Even if they're just want to try it for a year, like you learn so much strategy and like critical thinking and teamwork. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, like it's not just the athletic aspect. It's like being like supporting each other and the teamwork, and like they teach them skills that they can apply to school. Like a lot of the kids on our team, like from what I've heard and stuff, like their grades go up after they start training ninja more, because they're having fun. They're like, even for me, just like having this positive activity that I'm doing, it makes me happier overall, and that comes across in all other aspects of my life.
Growing up, did you think that you would be where you are today? Like, did you see yourself being involved with sports long term and as more of a central part of your life?
Yeah, I think growing up, I did different sports, and then I'd have goals with those individual sports. So like, when you're really little, I did gymnastics for a few years. So it was like, oh, you're going to be like an Olympic gymnast. And like, obviously not everyone's going to be, but that's, all the little girls' dream, like being a gymnast, like going to the Olympics someday. But then transitioning into circus for 10 years, my goal was to perform with Cirque du Soleil. So at that time, that was the goal, to eventually be able to do that or some other high-level traveling circus.
Yeah.
Yeah, the goals change over time, and when I started Ninja, it was like, hey, like someday I want to be on the show. So that happened. So that was awesome. But like that was the goal with that. And then now that I have, I make other goals.
Right. Do you think you'd still want to be, like, if Circus still like called you up and they're like, hey, we saw you on Ninja Warrior and like heard that you like us. Do you want to come do a show? Like, would you do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because like especially now I've gotten so involved with Ninja, that would be a huge opportunity. So I definitely have to think about that. But I don't know if where I'm at in my life, I could do a tour right now to like drop everything and leave for 2-3 years.
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
But if I was able to perform somewhere for like more of a short-term thing in one location, then that would definitely be something that I would consider.
Yeah, that's really cool. Do you have any other advice for whether it's kids or adults who are trying to get into ninja and are like just starting out or like they're brand new to anything that's like ninja related?
I mean, I think as kids, my best advice maybe to try other things too. Mm-hmm. So definitely like go to ninja gyms. There's so many ninja gyms that are popping up everywhere, but if you're young, like try rock climbing, try different stuff like that. That's where a lot of ninjas got their foundation. So as a kid, that's your best time to try all these different sports and get different skill sets. Do rock climbing, do some track and field, do gymnastics. That's sort of a nice foundation. And then if you are able to apply those skills to ninja, find a ninja gym, and like go there. If you can build some of your own obstacles at home, if there's not a ninja gym, then that's another possibility. But
yeah,
just try different things, especially if you're really young.
I think that's good advice. Yeah, I think having like that broad range of skills, I'm always amazed that so many ninjas have like a background in one sport or another and how those things carry over. It makes me like, I don't know, it makes me think back, like when I was in track, I remember senior year, my coach wanted to teach me pole vaulting and I just couldn't quite get the hang of it. It was like my last season of high school. Like hadn't really put a lot of work into it. I was always like a hurdler, did like long jump, triple jump. But now looking back, it's like, oh, I wish that I could go back and like tell myself to focus on certain skills that I know would have like carried over to ninja so well. But it's like, you gotta just take where you're at. I don't know. I've been so amazed just realizing how much the human body can change. And so many people, I think of like Jolene Kelly over in Australia or even Jennifer Tavernier. Like there's so many people in this sport who really had no background in anything ninja related. Didn't even work out, like were overweight or just like had some other thing going on that it wasn't even on their frame of reference to like think about ninja. And then they transformed their bodies into like this amazing powerhouse of like energy and ability. I love seeing people's stories of transformation and just like how they've become a new person. And I think every single person who gets really involved in ninja has some sort of experience, whether it's like a physical or a mental transformation. It's like ninja really leads you to become like a new version of yourself.
Yeah, like I love that it's like so many different body types can excel in this sport. Like obviously there's some advantages to having maybe like a certain height or something, but you have people like John Alexis, and then you have Casey Catanzaro, and
right,
like there's such a range, whereas there's traditional sports where you kind of have to fit into a certain mold to be successful. In ninja, you can use, say your height's an advantage in one thing, it's a disadvantage in another. If you're really tall or if you're short, it goes the other way around. So people find advantages in their different body types. Like especially a lot of the ninjas, like they're not huge, like weightlifter type. Like, I mean, some are, but like a lot of them just like people like that they can go on TV and see these people that they kind of just they're normal people,
Yeah, everyone can find someone to relate to. Like that's the other thing that's wild about our sport is like there's so many ages, like so many different kinds of people. Really cool.
I definitely like that it's like men and women competing together on it.
Yeah, people still ask me, like especially I find like people who are not involved with ninja who are like learning about ninja from me. They're always like, oh, but still, I think the women should be running a different course. And it like makes me, slightly mad, but slightly like, why are you thinking this? And I'm always like, yeah, but we feel proud of the fact that like we are running the same course and we're doing amazing. Like we're kicking butt and like we can stand up with the guys. Like it's not a thing. And I don't know. I still always get that question though, like, oh, why isn't it separate? But,
yeah, it was fun. Like I had there's an older woman who was speaking with me the other day. Like, I don't think she knew that much about ninja, but she was like, oh, like, don't you wish there's an easier course for women? And I was like, hey, like, there's, like, some aspects of it where, like, I really like that, like, the 5 move on rule, so there's more women visible in the sport. But
right.
I finished the course. Hey, like, three women finished the course.
Right.
So why do I need an easier course? Like, it's very possible. And that I think there's also a lot of women who very well could have finished that course, you know, just a different day.
Right. I think that's valid. And I think it forces us to, like, work harder and just to see ourselves as equals. And I don't know, I think just subconsciously, if we had a course that was a little bit easier, it's just reinforcing the fact that, like, oh, because I'm a woman, like, oh, it should be easier. And just, like, accepting something like that, just subconsciously, I think, does a lot to just make you feel less than in some way. So even if it does challenge us more, I think that's great. Like, why not? And like you said, there are so many women capable of finishing, so.
Like, it goes both ways. I remember, like, being asked before, like, oh, do you think, like, that the next winner of the show is going to be a woman? And it's like, well, not necessarily, but why does that have to be the standard, you know?
Right.
Like, why can't you, there's different levels of success.
Right.
And I don't think that a certain woman has to be better than every single guy. Like, right now, it's not the most likely thing. I mean, it's not that it couldn't happen, but
right.
That's tough. And it's also, like, men's bodies are built, they are built differently. At the same time, just you got people like that, the top women are doing it, and they are very successful on the show. So having that challenge of the same course, I do really like that.
I also do think it's really interesting. A lot of kids will ask me, like, kids who are not involved with ninja and, like, they just watch the show and don't totally understand the whole, like, world of it. A lot of kids will be like, the hero's on the show, and then they're like, oh, did you win?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, nobody really won. I mean, like, but everybody won in their own respect. And, like, I always have to give them this explanation of, like, well, nobody climbed Mount Midoriyama. Like, is that what you want to know? But at the same time, like, I made it to city finals. Like, to me, that's a huge win. Like, I made it onto the show. Like, that is a huge win. And so I'll have to, like, kind of break it down and explain, like, personally what my wins were and, like, what I still want to work on. But I think it's really interesting. Like, that's a kid's, like, automatic response.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, even just getting on the show, like you were saying, people don't necessarily realize how many people apply to be on every year. Like, just getting on, I was so grateful just to have that opportunity in the first place, regardless of, like, hitting a buzzer or moving to city finals.
Right.
That's awesome, just getting a chance to go on the course. But, no, yeah, it's funny. Like, I was a camp counselor for gymnastics this past summer, and all the kids would tell each other, oh, yeah, she won. And I'm like, no, I didn't win. Like, you set a record. I was like, yeah, but it's different. Like, I hit a buzzer, that's awesome, but you don't, like, only 2 people have ever won, or, like,
right.
won technically.
Is there anything when you were younger that, you know, maybe you struggled with, like, self-confidence or like body image or anything like that? Is there anything that you wish you knew back then that you know now?
Yeah, I mean, going through, like, sort of, like, high school age, I was definitely, like, trying to, like, lose weight and stuff like that, and, like, that, like, being, like, skinniest was sort of, like, the best for me, and, like, having control of that.
Yeah.
And even though I was doing these sports that involved muscle, I was like, oh, like, I'll be more successful if I'm as small as some of, like, the people who are also successful in this sport. So then going into ninja, I mean, I sort of, like, moved away from them before then, but going to ninja and just seeing these people who, like, the successful people are, you know, they're big and they're strong and they're not tiny girls. So, like, wanting to gain that muscle and, like, that, like, using my body. Like, it's not a visual thing, it's a useful thing. Yeah. You know?
Yes.
That definitely helped, being like, okay, I don't care, like, what I look like, it's how strong are my arms, or, like, I'm building up that core strength. I need my legs to get the warped wall, and if that makes them bigger, that's fine.
Yeah. I can definitely relate. I feel like I had a really similar journey in my own mind of just, like, body image in that way. I was like a little a little bit more on the extreme side when I was in like high school and early college. I just really thought I was really, really brainwashed to the fact that I thought I needed to be like as skinny as possible to like to have any sort of value, which sounds it sounds extreme, but like really that's what was subliminally like going on in my mind. And so then once I got more into strength training after college, I remember my body changing and being like, this is weird, and like having to really like calm my mind down and be like, no, wait, I'm getting stronger. And it was like such a weird mind flip for me, like way before Ninja ever happened for me, but like just like realizing like, whoa, now I can pick up this really heavy cooler water bottle and like flip it over and stick it on the cooler, like certain little like tasks like that I could suddenly do because I had strength, like blew my mind. And even like carrying stuff, like I don't know, I was always just so skinny that I had no like upper body strength. And so then just exactly what you said, like starting to realize what my body could do for me, and like being proud and like thankful for muscle was just like very interesting. And so then once I came into Ninja, it just like heightened that even more. Like, wow, now I can do like this many pull-ups, or like now I can lache. Like, wow, I want to be able to fly through the air. Like, I need to feed my body and like grow muscle like in a healthy way so that I can like do all these things. Like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that mindset of like losing weight as an accomplishment versus like your body doing like, I have accomplishments. Hey, like that was my biggest lache, and that's something with my body, not a number on a scale or something like that.
Right.
And I like doing track and field, especially pole vault in high school. There was weigh-ins.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't weigh under a certain amount, you can't use the pole you're using. You have to go up to a different pole.
Okay.
So I have coaches who are making, not even specifically about me, but other girls in the team making comments about their body. Hey, you'll be more successful if you lose weight. To people who aren't overweight at all, it just like it creates that sort of negative environment. Mm-hmm. Whereas I've never, in my experience, I've never had a coach or anyone in the ninja community tell anyone to lose weight.
Yeah, same. I've never heard it, never experienced it from what I know of any ninja coach like making any sort of weight comments. Like,
no,
it's so true. And I think we all even like have this understanding of, yeah, like you said, we don't focus on trying to lose weight. And so as we're getting stronger, yes, our bodies like change and we probably do lose fat but gain muscle. But it's just never our focus. And I think that's such a healthy thing. It's like we're focusing on the healthy aspect of like, what can my body do for me? And everything else just falls into place.
I'm hungry, I eat. Like I don't, because I don't even weigh myself anymore because like I don't care. Like I can feel how my body's reacting, like how I'm doing, and if stuff's more difficult, I just work out more, I do more upper body stuff, but it's such a better mentality for me being in a sport where it's about being strong and what your body is capable of doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said this on the podcast before, but when I used to be more involved with modeling, I would start to get a lot of like negative looks from designers and casting people when I started to gain a lot more muscle, and a lot of my sizes for clothing and stuff changed, and even my measurements that I'd have to put on my comp cards seemed different. And like if I had to put down my weight, I hated having to put down my weight because I knew I was gaining so much muscle that like they would look at my numbers and think that I looked a lot different than I really did because I was athletic. So it was just it was really weird to then have to almost feel apologetic for having arms, like having strong arms and muscle and like having a muscular back. And so then I was able to start finding designers who wanted to focus more on athletic bodies and like fitness wear and stuff like that. And that was just a relief. But I still like always think about, I don't know, I'm very sensitive to it because I've thought about it for so long. But, looking in magazines or like different, gown advertisements or whatever, it's like, it's always these girls with like the skinniest arms ever and like toothpick, like biceps and forearms. And I'm always just like, you couldn't lift anything if you tried. Like it just, I don't know. I still feel so sensitive to the images that are out there where girls look like the thought that like girls look better with like really thin arms. And so it makes me feel so proud of all of us athletes who are out there who have strong arms and like strong upper body, and we're not like afraid to still like wear a dress. Like I just think there's so much value in being feminine and like being proud that you're a woman, but also being proud of your own strength.
Yeah, I mean, like, I had a friend the other day asking, like, oh, does your boyfriend feel intimidated that, like, you've been so successful doing the ninja, or, like, that you're so strong? And it's like, no, he doesn't. Like, we both train together, and, like, I think there are a lot of people who feel that way, but, like, it's nice having that support. Like, he thinks it's awesome that I've been so successful at that. And, like, I've always been strong, so not having to feel like I need to, like, I don't know, like, hide that, or, like...
Yeah. I feel like most of the guys that I've dated more recently have all been involved with sports as well. And so it usually hasn't been a thing, but like...
Yeah, I mean, he's, like, for sure strong. Like,
yeah.
He, like, deadlifts, or, like, he lifts way more than I can, but, like,
yeah.
You know, it's a different kind of strength. And, like, even if I could lift more, like, who cares? But...
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone has different strengths and abilities.
Yeah. And I love that I feel like our society is in a place now where we're just looking at the individual and, like, looking at their own abilities and not just, like, judging somebody based on your ethnicity or your gender. Like, I know that still happens, but I think as a whole, like, we're working so much more towards this, like, open mind and open concept. And it's cool to think that ninja is really, like, helping that happen in a lot of ways.
I feel like you see all, like, these women on the show, and, like, they're, like, they do have, like, like Megan Martin, like, people like that. She has really big arms, and she's also modeling.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so it's like crossing those two things.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool. I think it's so incredible, just the opportunity for impact that we all have. And I know it's something I think about a lot, and especially with Ninjababes, like, I always want to get those, like, just that positive self-image and, like, the positive thinking out there and spread that as much as possible and just, like, help support everybody. So I don't know, I think, like, we're given this weird, like, opportunity to not only work on our own, like, physical fitness and, like, our own endeavors in the sport, but, like, it goes hand in hand with being able to help raise up the next generation and, like, impact the people around us. I think it's really cool.
Do you have, like, I was talking about, like goals and stuff being on this show?
Yeah.
Like, do you think about that? Like, I started thinking, like, what, like, do you have a goal going forward? I was talking to, I think, Barclay and Jesse when they visited Action the other day about, like, wanting to be able to finish a city finals, stuff like that, and, like...
Yeah, do I have goals? Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to first finish a city qualifying course and then absolutely finish a city finals course. The one thing that I kind of regret a little bit about this past season is, like, okay, obviously I wish I got further in city finals, but even beyond that, I remember before even getting to the course, when I was still training before any filming happened, I remember like having this thought of, like, you know, I was visualizing what type of obstacles might be on the course. Like, I was more so visualizing, like, what is it going to feel like to stand on the course, and, like, thinking about the lights being on me and, like, thinking about the audience and all of that. And I remember, like, really psyching myself up and, like, feeling really good about city qualifying. And then I had this, somebody said something to me about, oh, city finals, like, you feel ready, like, if, you know, if you made it to city finals, blah, blah, blah. And I remember having this thought of, like, oh, but am I really going to make it to city finals? Like, I probably don't even have to think about that. And hello, like, I did make it. Like, I was totally capable of making it there. And so I think the only regret I have is, like, not really believing in my full capacity for potential. And, like, I wish that before Philly, I had really been like, no, I'm going all the way, and, like, not letting even a fragment of a doubt step into my brain. And, like, I don't know if maybe if I had really been more focused, like, sure, maybe the outcome of something in city finals could have been different, maybe not. But I just, this one thing that it's kind of a goal of mine to just never let any sort of doubt enter my brain, because I don't know how subconsciously, like, that could affect me. Or, you know, I find that I do so much better on the course when I'm just fully expecting the best. And, you know, I definitely need to strategize. I definitely need to be aware of weaknesses and, like, know how to handle those. But when I can really, you know, think through all of that strategy and then just expect the best outcome and tell myself, like, I can do it, that's when I do the best. And so I just never want to go into a situation with, like, any sort of doubt or any sort of, like, I don't know. Like, I always want to, like, make sure I'm completely, like, prepared in that sense.
No, like, definitely felt like going into it that, like, I had sort of, like, I guess, like, a similar but sort of opposite situation where, like, I didn't even get interviewed before qualifier.
Okay.
So there was literally, like, when they say on the, like, Mads and those people were like, oh, where'd she come? Like, no one expected me to do anything. So I didn't have any pressure.
Yeah.
I had a few coaches who were like, hey, like, I'd be like, oh, I want to make it maybe, like, to the 5th obstacle. And they were like, no, like, you're going to hit a buzzer. But in my head, I wasn't, like, going into it all like, oh, no, I'm just going to finish this course. It was like, hey, I want to kind of try my best and maybe I'll get aired a little bit. Like, that was the expectation going into qualifier. But then for the second night, I have all this sort of, like, hype around me and people being like, oh, no, like, oh, are you going to finish, like, a city finals and do this, like, big thing? Where there's all this pressure that didn't exist at all the first night.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like we were in very, very similar, but, like, opposite situations. Like, for me, I think the second night, I was so, like, I had this one awkward moment in my interview before, so after we finished qualifying, before city finals filmed, when they're doing those interviews, I was talking about the 5 of us women and how we made it to city finals, but I kept making it sound like I wasn't one of the 5 women, and I kept saying, like, the top 5, like, not including myself, and one of the producers was like, you keep saying it as if you're not one of the 5, and I remember being like, oh, yeah, I am. Like, it was so, just, like, making it to city finals was so surreal in my brain because I was not expecting it, and so I wish that I could have, like, digested it a little bit more and been like, yes, I am a city finalist. Like, I'm going to go crush this course. Like, it felt a little surreal still. And I think, like, going into it then, it did take a lot of the pressure off me because I was so excited to be a city finalist. But I think it hadn't really hit me. And so I was just kind of like, oh, I'm doing the course again. Like, let's go have fun, like, on the course again. Okay. But, like,
that whole night I was realizing, like, wait, I'm going to finals. Wait, I'm competing tomorrow. Like, it would, like, click, like, 10 minutes later, and then another thing would be like, oh, wait, that's crazy. Like, it just didn't connect because that wasn't the expectation.
Right. And I think that I felt so good about being there that I took all the pressure off, which was, like, not what I needed. I think I needed to feel the pressure of, like, no, Kara, like, you're doing this. Like, you better not mess up. I think, like, I think I need that pressure in some respects. And so, like, I don't know. It was such a weird thing, that first obstacle.
I know, like, I had people being like, oh, just have fun, and, like, it doesn't matter, like, you had that first night, which was, like, good, because I was super stressed.
Yeah.
I didn't take my time, like, I was just kind of, I didn't have that time to get into a good mental space that I did the first time, for sure. But yeah, like, just having the expectation, like, oh, like, Casey Catanzaro, she finished the qualifier, and then she finished the final, oh, are you going to do that too? Like,
yeah,
that's such a high standard to, like, that's crazy. Didn't train, like, going into it, I wasn't training to finish a final. Like, who knows what would happen if I made it further, but, like, I wasn't in the gym, like, doing replicas of a city final. I was, you know, I tried a few, but I wasn't training at that level with that expectation.
Right.
It's kind of take it as it comes. We'll see you this year.
But this year, yeah, my goal is totally to finish a city qualifying, and then, like, I would love to finish a city finals, but also just, like, to be able to get over that wall again on the second night and just know that I made it into the back half of the course and, like, absolutely did my best. Like, that's my goal, is just to, like, use my full potential and completely show my full potential.
Like, so, going out, like, that's always, like, even in NNLs, I want to go out because I'm too tired to go on. Not because I made a stupid mistake. Exactly. Yeah. I wasn't too tired at that rope.
Yeah. I actually was just talking to Mike Myers about, like, the concept of failure and, like, how it's something that we all deal with in Ninja, but it feels like there's 2 kinds of failures. Like, if you're competing, just like you said, like, there's the failure when you physically ran out of energy and it ended because you couldn't go on, or you made, like, a dumb mistake that then you're going to, like, be thinking about it over and over. And I think, like, those failures when you just were exhausted and you ran out of energy, like, those feel like absolute wins. And the other type of failures still can be, like, a positive experience, but it's the kind of failure where you have to, like, ingest it and like think about what you can learn from it and like how you can use it as a positive, even though it just feels like a blaring negative.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Like, both of us, we had done the course the night before, almost the exact same course. So a lot of people, like, you mess up early and you haven't done a course, you go, I knew I could have done it. Like,
right.
But we really did.
Right, I know. And then like the week, I don't know if you got a chance to test in any other cities and test. Yeah, so for me, I was like so determined for redemption, and the next city was Minneapolis. So I went out to Minneapolis to test the course there, and I got to run the Archer steps, and I finished it flawlessly in literally 7 seconds. And like, 1, 2, 3, like step was on the rope, and then on the platform, done, like donezo. And I was just like, wow, like it felt so good to do that. But I was also like, why couldn't that have happened 2 weeks ago? Like,
that's always how it is. Like, you messed up like redemption time for NNLs, and you're like, oh wow, that was easy.
Yeah, I know, but it's. But
now we've done it. Now we know.
Exactly, it's how you learn. It's how you like build your confidence and like get to that right space.
And like, I always make a note in my phone, like when I mess up an obstacle, like sort of like how to do it or how to do obstacles like that. So then if something comes up again, I'm not going to mess it up twice.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I always try to. I don't necessarily write it down, but I do always try to like. Yeah. I always say ingest, like I always try to like eat it, like eat what I'm visualizing. I don't know, I'm a weird person, but I think about it like I'm going to imagine what I did wrong. Now I'm going to imagine like when I did that obstacle right. And now I'm really going to like chew on it and like think about every single movement and motion and like allow it to like if you want to go with this analogy, like the nutrients of what all the good things were, like let it really settle into my body. Like that's just how I think about things.
Well, how are you feeling like mentally going into this year? That's something I was thinking about, is like the pressure of like from last year that it's a totally different experience going into this year with like, because you have more expectations.
Yeah, totally. I do have really high expectations for myself, but at the same time, I just am so grateful that my ankle is healed up and that I can compete. Like, I just feel really excited and grateful to even be asked back on the show and to have another opportunity to compete. But, from last year, we had talked about this earlier, making it to city finals, it's almost like I didn't expect it. And so this year, it's like, I think I'm going into it with a lot more expectation of like, I'm doing this, I'm a good athlete, like I'm going to do my very best and I'm going to crush it. And like, whatever happens, like I'm setting my sights high with the expectation of like, I know I can do it because I'm just happy to be back. But I think I'm going into it with a lot more like purpose in my mind of like, I'm really doing this, like this is really happening and I'm going to do well because I know that I'm capable. Versus last year, I was just like very happy-go-lucky and like, I'm here, yay. Like, so this year I just feel excited I feel honored to have been asked to be back. I want to do my best and I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, but it's like, I want to prove that I deserve to be here. And like, I made it to city finals last year. I want to make it to city finals again. And so it's like that careful balance between like really expecting a lot of myself so that I'm confident in trying for that, but not like putting so much pressure that it's like going to ruin me. Like there's got to be like a healthy balance. And I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm in a good balance.
Yeah, no, I feel like last year like when I went into the qualifier, I like there wasn't any expectation. Like I was very new to Ninja versus this year where like being able to have bigger goals like that.
Yeah.
And feeling like my training is backing that up more.
Right. No matter what, you have to go into it with an open mind and being like, there's no pressure. Like I'm still here to enjoy Ninja and have fun.
Exactly.
And so you have to still like keep that in your brain. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like you and I both are very much like, we want to be ambitious and we want to like make those goals. So there still is that pressure, but it's like coming from a place.
We still have fun though. Like we're on this course that we saw on TV forever and now like we actually get to compete on it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's coming from a place of loving the sport and like loving that we're in it and what we're doing.
Well, it's great talking to you again.
Yes. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's just like fun talking to you and I'm so excited for next week.
I know. I'll see you really soon.
Yes.
Be strong. Be you. Be a Ninja Babe.